And welcome to the Crawford Podcasting Network for this final 2022 edition of All Rell and Good with former Michigan standout basketball player Richard Rellford, number 40 out of Riviera Beach, Florida. Rich is my dude, and Rich is always that guy who he's always this is the way he leads his life. He's a glass half full
There you
kind of
go.
guy, and he always will be. He always will be. But he we started in full disclosure to our listeners out there, Rich. We'll tell them that we had a conversation before we even started recording our podcast because I think you needed some therapy. I certainly did need
Yes,
some therapy
yes.
after what happened last night in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Now I go to virtually all the home games. This was one of two games I missed last night. Thank
Hmm.
God I missed it.
Hmm.
But Michigan on the short end, a 2-point setback to CMU, one of the worst teams in college basketball. They had 4 wins going into this game. I don't know what their power rating is, but they lost to Eastern Illinois. I mean, they got some horrendous losses. Anyway, Happy New Year to you, Rich.
Happy New Year to
We'll
you
say
too,
Happy New
Tom.
Year, and then let's get into this thing. What was your reaction?
Well, I'm gonna be honest because like the game wasn't on,
Yeah,
and I got a chance
streaming. Yeah,
to see the highlights. And like we said before, I was disappointed because we gave no effort.
yeah,
We
yeah,
shouldn't even had to come down to the last second shot of a game against Central, Eastern, any of those schools,
yes.
because
Thank
not
you.
that we're bigger and better in our programs because we know those guys. That was
Hmm.
what I was saying. They knew those guys from Central Michigan. They knew
Yeah,
some of those guys.
yeah.
And so I didn't understand the effort. And so that's why I was disappointed.
Well, the epitome of effort. I'm going to ask you specifically about this because you
Mm-hmm.
were a tremendous rebounder for
Mm-hmm.
the University of Michigan. But let's look at the rebounding disadvantage for Michigan. Central Michigan had 44 rebounds. Michigan had 32, and 17 offensive rebounds for CMU to Michigan's 11. Okay,
Wow.
so when tell me about rebound at the high, collegiate level, and then you played international pro ball. I mean, what goes into rebounding? Is it? I mean, is it? I know it's power, and you could jump out of the
Mm-hmm.
gym. I get all that, but how much of it is up here, mentality wise, and how bad you want to win this game?
It's all rebounding is effort. You have
Yeah,
to give effort because everybody's trying to figure out why Dennis Rodman was such a great rebounder.
yeah. Why was he? Why was he?
Because he gave effort and that's what he was focused on. You
Okay.
have guys doing games. Everybody has a role. We talk about this all the time, and everybody has roles.
Yep.
And you have those guys who you want to rebound and score. Then you have guys who just going to rebound, and you got guys who are just going to play defense. Well, Michigan has a few guys that they should designate as rebounders.
Okay.
And all you have now that's rebounding is Hunter. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Hunter is not, you need more than Hunter because
Yeah.
now teams have figured out your weakness.
Yeah.
Crash the boards on the University of Michigan and you'll get extra shots. That's
Yeah.
what teams are thinking.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Hunter Dickinson, this one baffles me. Okay, this guy is
Mhm.
he's a all Big Ten player. He's going into his third year right now.
Right.
They're Big Ten champions his freshman year, but he got let me. I'm looking at the underneath my screen here. I got the stat sheet here. He had
Mhm.
9 field goal attempts, mind you, 3 of 9. He did pretty good. Oh yeah. Okay. Get this: 4 rebounds for Hunter Dickinson. Okay. I mean that's just mind-boggling. He's only got 4 rebounds. He's a 7-footer.
Right.
But
That's what
but
gets me, Tom.
when they go down, how come he doesn't get more touches in the final possession? Michigan was down 2, and I just even replaying this thing, they had to go down to the final shot to win this game,
Mhm.
and how it ended up was Kobe Buffkin, who probably offensively is Michigan's recently most consistent player. He had 16
Yes.
points
Yeah,
tonight,
16 last night.
free for the win. I don't think they wanted to deal with this team in the over, and it was no good. And Hunter got a rebound. But time ran out. But how come not going into Hunter and get this into overtime? Because I mean, Hunter Dickinson should be a no brainer as far as an automatic. I mean, what is going on with the offensive scheme here?
Well, see, this is my thing. You hit the nail on the head. And Jawan's a big guy coach. And even though he's not a guard and he's not on the floor, every day in practice, your emphasis should be on getting Hunter Dickerson the ball.
Yeah.
Because we talk about this over and over. The offense should start with Hunter.
Start.
Nowhere else. It should start with Hunter. Hunter
Yeah.
makes great decisions when he get the ball in the paint.
He
But you're
does.
not letting him make any decisions. He's one of
Yeah.
the best big men passers in all of college
He
basketball.
really is. He really, and the other thing about it, I've noticed about this, it's not so much when it goes into Hunter that it's going to end up a two ball. He's going to body, he's going to dig into
Mhm.
the block and try to get one of those left hand body hooks and things like that. I mean, that's all good.
Right.
But whenever Michigan's perimeter, the only way Michigan seemingly gets open looks from three ball land beyond the arc is when it starts with Hunter. So you got that inside outside. And then all of a sudden you're getting a Doug McDaniel or Kobe Buffkin getting a better look because the defense gets sucked in. But so many times it doesn't even, they're launching a three without even dipping into the big fella to shift that defense down.
They haven't realized yet, Tom, that their shots become easier when you go to Hunter.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
now your guy is going to kind of roll back a little bit. They're kind
Yep.
of trying to double team. But see, I don't know why we're not thinking that way. I tell everybody that basketball is not rocket science. It's not. And with as good a team and players as Michigan has, Central shouldn't have even been in that game. Because I
No.
told you before, when we played Eastern and Central and UD,
Yeah.
if you're not up 15 in the last 5 minutes of that game, you got a problem.
Well, I said this. I said this going in. It was a 21-point favorite Michigan was going into this game. And I was to some people that were going down to the game in a phone conversation. I said, if Michigan's not up by, I think I might have even said 15 to 18 points at halftime, this team is in serious trouble. I mean, I'm talking longevity wise through the 22-23 season. The whole season is going to be, I mean, it's just, they've had 8 days to prepare for this. I mean, we haven't talked since the North Carolina game took place.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they seem to play to that level. I mean, they played all right against Carolina. I mean, Carolina's no juggernaut.
Right.
They're preseason number one. But you
True.
knew where that game was going to end up. Didn't you know? Did you feel that was a 4-point loss or a six?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
even though when they were ahead, or even though they were hanging around the chicken coop in that game, you just knew they weren't going to fin. Didn't you have that feeling?
I had that feeling.
Yeah.
The same way against Kentucky. I had that feeling
Same as
because
a Kentucky. Yep.
I had that feeling because we're not playing with enough energy. We need more energy to play, and we need more. First of all, we know we don't have leaders because we have young guys. But for me,
But Hunter's a
Hunt,
leader. I mean,
and
Hunter's
right.
and Terrence Williams, he starts, he gets a lot of playing time. I mean, he
Yes,
plays a lot,
he does.
and T Will is just so freaking inconsistent, and he takes a lot of three. He's got the most unorthodox shot. I mean, it literally, and God, I hate criticizing
Mhm.
Amaret, but it's got a long wind. Don't you see when
I
you? I mean, you
I
had
think
that
it's a,
little quick. Yeah, you had that quick trigger, that one hand put. You know what I mean? I'm telling
I
you
think he has
something.
a
You
weird
know what
shot
that was.
too. I think
Yeah,
his shot is weird.
yeah. I mean, your shot was a little bit unorthodox, but it was a
Right,
quick trigger. I mean,
right. Quick trigger.
I mean, T. Will has this wind up. It's very weird to me, and I'm surprised that it hasn't been tweaked at all.
Well, I think a lot of times, Tom, when you get a player that's at this level, now that he's a college player,
It's
too
not
late to tweak
fixable.
it. It's not
Yeah,
fixable. Because if you don't get him when he's in middle school and try
yeah.
to fix it,
It's
it
it's
ain't gonna
done,
happen.
baby.
It's done. Just like Jamal Wilkes. Remember Jamal Wilkes played for the Lakers?
Oh, I tell you
Right.
what, it was unorthodox, but that sucker went in when he was at UCLA. See, I'm older than you. I remember I
Yeah.
saw him play in person
Oh,
down in
did you?
St. Louis in the Final
Okay.
Four in 1974. Okay, so you were very young. Um,
I'm one of my
you know,
all-time great players.
yeah, Keith. Actually, his name was Keith Wilkes at that time before he changed his name to
Really?
Jamal.
See,
Okay,
you got me on
so
that
I mean,
one.
that shot we always in the driveway, we'd always say, "Hey, look, I'm Keith Wilkes," and we'd always create, I'm
Okay.
Keith Wilkes, and
Okay.
but it went in,
It does. It does.
and he had, but this thing, it just takes the spin on it goes sideways, it goes,
It's like a
all over
slingshot to me. He shoots it like a slingshot to me.
a slingshot. Thank you. Yeah,
That's how he shoots it to me.
yeah,
I like Terrence. He does play a lot, but he's inconsistent.
yeah.
And you should see, I'm on a couple pages on Facebook with Michigan teams and Michigan fans, and
Yeah, I bet you are.
they're eating him alive on Facebook because they're saying exactly what we're saying now. He's inconsistent.
Yeah,
You hit big shots, but you got to do it all the time.
yeah,
All the time,
yeah.
it has to be done. I think now Juwan has to have a sense of urgency because your Big Ten season getting ready to start.
Yeah.
And you ain't gonna have no teams like Central. All your teams, even the Northwestern, is gonna be better than that.
And I get too twisted up in the stats, but I have to rely on the box score that Tom Wyrot sent me because I didn't see the game.
Right.
Unusually, but so I'm looking at Will Cheddar. Okay, Will Cheddar was redshirted
Mhm.
last year. He's number 42. Okay,
Right.
he got 10 and a half minutes. Rich, 10 and a half minutes did Will Cheddar. 0 for 1 from the field. Okay, he 1 or 2 from the free throw line. He got a couple of rebounds. Okay, well, I take it back, 3 rebounds. But I mean, there's not a lot there. I mean, I'm expecting more for almost, for beyond double digit minutes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just,
Yes.
if he's in there, Joey Baker got 15 minutes.
Yes,
Okay,
he did. Yes,
he
Joey
was
got
1 or 2 from 3-point land, 1 of 3 from the field. He didn't get or he got 1 rebound. Okay, so
yes.
you're not getting any help off the bench at all. Doug McDaniel had
Yes.
31 and a half minutes. He had 10 points. But I think he hit his head. In this game, and I heard he
Really?
wasn't even the same at the. I don't. It was a disaster. It was a
It was,
freaking
Tom.
disaster. And I'm wondering, is this? I mean, I'm going to ask you this, and and I know you're good friends with Juwan, but this is a bottom line business called college basketball coaching, and I mean, what could Juwan do better as a head coach, and ultimately the staff do better to because you're talking about this lack of effort. I mean, what would you do? What would you do if you were?
I think what you have to do is enough of coaches always seem to me when I played, when some things wasn't going right, you feel like you got to continue to just run players. No, that's not it. What you need to do, and I've been to the Michigan facilities, get those kids in a room. You walk out and let them decide how they want to play it. Because you have young men. You're the head coach. But there's some things that you can't do as a head coach. Like you can't make him go out there and give you effort. You can sit him down, but that still doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah.
I think he needs to let these kids talk because, like you said, we have Hunter as a leader. Okay. Let Hunter, whoever's your captain, which I'm assuming is Hunter as well, you sit down and you say, "Oh, look, fellas, especially after this Central game, look, man, we are not only embarrassed ourselves, we embarrassed this institution."
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah. Laughing
look,
stock. All over sports.
and
Yeah.
all right, it's all over sports. And what I'm gonna tell you what motivated us too, Tom. Our football team doing this well
Yeah.
should make us want to do well.
Yeah.
Because your football team is in the Final Four.
Yeah.
They win on Friday. They'll be in the national championship game.
Yeah. Saturday.
I don't know about you guys, but what we felt when Jimmy and them was going to Rose Bowls and all of that was, yo, man, we got to win. But wouldn't it be nice if we win a Big Ten title and they win one too? Yeah. That was always the cool thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what drives these guys.
And that's what happened in 80.
And that's exactly what happened.
86. Yeah.
Right. But Tom, I don't want to say this because I'm one of the proponents for NIL deals.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to spoil these kids because now I don't have a college kid. Once I pay him NIL money, I have a professional
Yeah.
because now you have to be a professional. Now I don't know how much NIL stuff Michigan is getting, but I see it around the country and how much these guys are getting.
Yeah.
I'm all for that,
Hmm.
but don't lose the sight of the big picture. The
Yeah.
big picture is to get your degree to win college basketball championships or football
Right.
championships.
Right.
It, you have to give effort. Don't let it be about cash
Yeah.
because when it's about cash, you done lost the love of it.
No,
Because
no. So
now,
yeah, I want to go back to your junior senior year. You won Big Ten titles. Okay, so
yes,
that's probably not a good example. But I mean, your freshman and sophomore years. I mean, under Frieder, you
mhm,
had some struggling moments. Okay,
yes,
I mean,
yes.
did you ever have that moment like where I'm not saying the locker room was toxic, but you're pointing fingers at each other, or you needed a players only meeting, or was everything kumbaya all 4 years for you at Michigan?
To be honest, we had amazing seniors. Uh, Ike Persons and Leo Brown were
Yeah,
seniors when we were freshmen.
yeah,
And when I tell you, they kept us all level headed. We were losing, man. We were 13-11, I think, my freshman year. We were
yeah,
terrible. And Leo and those guys said, look, fellas, give more effort. Let's play for each other. Don't play for
right,
just one, play for each other. And Coach
yeah.
Frieder, he stepped away from that meeting. He didn't, he talked first. Coach talked first. And then when he left, then we all talked. And stop it with the egos. First of all, you ain't got no lottery picks on here but Hunter.
Yeah, and,
And
and,
that's
and I mean, he ain't no lottery pick. I'm
and
gonna
that's
tell you
slipping.
something, Rich.
Right,
I
that's slipping. I
I think
agree.
he's gonna be a 4 year guy.
Well, to be honest with you, Tom, I wish he does stay 4 years. I really
Yeah,
do. I wish he does because if you do, now you will become a lottery. Not
yeah.
now. All
Well,
of
I
that
mean,
is going by.
something's got to get fixed, though, because his game he has digressed
Yes,
from
he has.
last
I
year
agree.
to now. I mean, I remember talking. I remember seeing him in the Tennessee game.
Hmm.
You know, when we were at down in India that I was at, and Chris Webber was he was eyeballing. They were pumping each other. I mean, he was pumping him up. This guy was locked in. I thought, wow, Hunter's gonna if Hunter does come back, he's gonna have a great year. But
Right.
it's not happening. And I understand the Jalen Llewellyn injury, but that's still he was a grad transfer coming in. That dynamic had not kicked in, and the Frankie Collins departure really pissed me off because I
Me too.
thought that really the tape. And then I start to wonder. Then what? Here's the buzz today for all the
Hmm.
listeners out there in the Crawford Podcasting Network. All Rell and Good review on the Wolverine.com message board. Everybody's lighting up Juwan saying, "Well, he won early because he had Beeline's players. Now he's got his own players, and look what's happening." Now, I mean, that's too simplified to say,
Hmm.
in my opinion.
Right.
But I mean, what? I mean, what is it when you look at this team? What that's the number one priority of fixing? If you were Juwan Howard,
If I'm Jawan, my guard play got to be better because Buffkin is right now. Buffkin is what our leading scorer. He's the
yeah,
one we're looking for. Well, that's impossible.
he missed a lot of shots.
Right, because he's taking a lot of shots.
Yeah, he's taking a
My
lot of
thing
shots.
is, right, my thing is with Jawan is he needs to get his guys together and he needs to say, look, what are we here for? This situation with our team now is lack of effort. I
Yeah,
can't play for you. Like I tell my kid all the time, listen, I can't do this for you. You have to go out there and decide what do I want to be a good team or a great team? That
yeah,
was always Frieder stuff.
yeah.
You want to be good or you want to be great? Which one you want to be? You could be average or you could do
So
something that nobody's ever done.
what keeps going? You keep going in this conversation I'm having with you, Rich. I'm
Hmm.
I'm 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 interpreting what you're telling me.
Hmm.
You keep going back to lack of effort. You really
Yes,
you do.
yes,
And
I
so,
do.
and that's something that's leadership, both from the player's perspective and the coaching. And then it comes into mechanics. 6 of 22 from 3-point land. This team last year was terrible beyond the arc. Okay.
Yes.
And at the free throw line. They were 15 of 21 from the charity toss
Yeah.
yesterday. But 6 of 22. I mean, Central was 6 of 29. So it's not like Central shot them down
Right.
but they got more shots up because they got more rebounds.
And that's usually how it goes. They had a
Yeah.
lot of. I watched the highlights. I watched. Central had a bunch of offensive rebounds
Yeah.
towards the end when we had
17.
a chance to get the
Yeah.
ball. They
Yeah.
got the offensive rebound when the
Yes.
game was tied with one down one, and
Yeah.
then you let them get the rebound.
Yeah.
No,
When
you
this
need
Reggie Bass, he he tries to he kind of threw his body in, trying to draw a foul, and he hit the ball went in.
right, and it went in.
This kid had played he was almost a 40-minute Warrior last time. He rarely left the court. And but you had guys that wanted to win this basketball game. I mean, they
Right.
were basically they went 7 deep last night and they got great effort. I don't know. I mean, it's Central. It's Central. And so now moving
Regardless.
forward. Now moving forward, okay.
Mhm.
This is reality moving forward, okay? And we talked about this before. So Michigan is 7-5 right now, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. Okay. So, and now you have one Big Ten game in already. So they have 19 games to go. Okay. They're 1-0 in Big Ten play. They have to get to, in my opinion, they got to get to 12 Big Ten wins. So they need 11 Big Ten wins moving forward because that will, if they win 11 more games, they'll have 18 wins, and that might get them into I mean they'd be 12-8 in Big Ten play. That would get you into the tournament. Last year they got in at 17 and 14
Right.
overall, so this would be 18 and 13 or whatever. I mean, you got to get to 11 wins, 11 more
I
wins. That's tough. That's
I
tough,
think
and
so.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen because you look what you got. You got Maryland. Maryland, I thought was really good, and they're not so good, but they're better than Michigan. You got them at home. That game's on Sunday afternoon, 4:30. Okay, they have to win that game.
That's
Then
a
they
must
got
win,
Penn
Tom.
State at home. They got to win that game. Penn State's pretty good. Then they go
Yep.
to up to Breslin. That's going to be problematic. And I'm not saying Michigan State's a juggernaut, but the venom.
Still, we know
Yeah,
how those games go. We know those rival games. We
yeah.
know that. One thing I can tell you about Tom Izzo, he ain't gonna feel sorry for you because you ain't playing right
You
and
think
playing well.
they're licking
Tom
their chop?
Izzo, exactly, Tom. He's licking his chops because you know what? No matter what anybody says, Michigan has had more up days than down days. But
Yeah.
when you down, teams are coming in to cut
Oh, they're
your
gonna step
throat.
on you. No,
Right. And so
no. I
you
mean,
got to know that.
think about, and I'm gonna go back to the first two home games in a second, but the
Mm,
toxicity, the Michigan State game, based on what happened in football, just the rivalry is a venomous hatred rivalry.
yep.
Basketball, and you were up there in Jenison, and I was
Yep.
sitting down there, really low in those lower, and I could hear the vent. I could hear how tough it was for you, and they beat you
Mhm.
your senior
Yep.
year up there.
They sure did. They beat us there.
Yeah, and that you were Big Ten champs when Skiles went off on some freaking 40 points or whatever. Because
Scott.
because Antoine Gilbert and all that. Oh my God, it was
All that
bad.
talking that him and Gary was doing.
Yeah, yeah. And my radio partner Jack Evely, I mean, he stirred the pot. He went down there and Ira got him to go and walked it up to
Yes, he did.
Skiles. So I mean, I guess that's what you do. But anyway, let's start first things first. Let's just start with the Maryland game. Can they beat Maryland? Can you
Yes,
bounce back? Can you bounce back in 3 days after
yeah,
this disastrous performance?
yeah. I think it can beat Maryland. Matter of fact, you have more to lose now.
Oh
You
yeah,
have
you got a
more to
lot to lose.
lose. Right.
Yeah,
And so my thing is
urgency.
it's a sense of urgency, Tom,
Yeah,
because you don't want to drop all these games at home
yeah.
because you ain't guaranteed nothing away. We know this. Ain't
They got
nothing
they
guaranteed.
they got the one winnable game. They already spent that one. They beat Minnesota, which is
There
the
you
worst
go.
team. Michigan right now is right probably with Minnesota as the second worst team in the Big
They
Ten.
are, Tom, because
That's
they
where we
record
stand right
shows it.
now. But remember last year? Last year we had these moments. Remember the Minnesota game at home? I mean, and Michigan was struggling, and they got blown by Iowa late in the year. I didn't think they were getting the tournament. They got in the tournament, and they got the Sweet 16. So it's fixable. So we'll see what we'll break this down again next week. But
Okay.
before I let you go, Rich, I got it. Let's hit more important things. Michigan football, Saturday afternoon, 4:00. Michigan has a great opportunity. You know what opportunities are at the high level. You have to embrace them. Okay. And they got TCU at 4:00 in the Fiesta Bowl. And how you feeling about this Michigan team?
Well, to be honest, Tom, the toughest game for me is the TCU game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And everybody says
You
why.
got to get to that one to get to the title.
Exactly. You got to
Yeah.
get to that to beat TCU to get there. I don't think Jimmy's going to underestimate anybody.
No, I don't think so.
Because even though we're supposed to win,
Yeah.
that don't always happen. That don't mean nothing.
You know what
That means
that's
Jack.
like. You
Right.
guys, you guys were number 1 seed or number 1 and number 2 seed your junior and senior year.
Right. And
Yep.
and
you got knocked. You didn't get out of the first weekend. Why? Because everybody's trying to knock off the big guy.
that's exactly right. But I have confidence in my Michigan Wolverine football guys because of JJ.
Yeah.
I am a JJ McCarthy fan.
I am too, baby.
I had told somebody that we call him JJ Brady because on ESPN they're comparing him to Tom.
Yeah, different kind of style, but
different kind of style.
Maturity,
because
maturity.
what makes it good for me though, Tom, with JJ is JJ will run that ball.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says. If you got a quarterback that don't run, you have a problem.
You do, because you're
have a problem
back there, and
exactly.
Really,
but JJ will give you about 30 seconds.
You threaten that defense so much, and so we're going to hope for the best on that. So
we will.
We're going to talk probably after the Penn State game,
okay,
and preview that Michigan State game, and we're going to have some fun with it, Rich. I mean, it's too early to throw in the towel, and that's not
we can't throw
wired that way. But we will both admit, and I loved how you brought it really, very transparent. You were not happy with how your Michigan Wolverines played last night.
No, I was not happy. Believe me, my son and my daughters are here, and believe me, we ain't happy.
All right. Well, Happy New Year to you, Rich.
Happy New Year to you too, my man.
We'll talk to you in 2023.
Go Blue, baby.
All right. See ya.